Hello and Namaste. I am Archana Raghuram. Welcome back to Temples, Books and Science. I am excited to continue our journey through the Lalitasahasranamam. In the previous video, we embarked on a celestial journey, exploring the names that describe the goddess Lalita's divine abode. We now turn our attention to a different aspect of her being, her compassionate gaze and the power of her eyes. This brings us to the 62nd name in the Lalitasahasranamam, Kamakshi, which translates to she whose eyes are full of love. It also means she who has beautiful eyes and she who grants desires with her eyes. The name Kamakshi has a beautiful etymology. Kama refers to both love and desire, while Akshi means eyes. This signifies that the goddess's eyes express both the compassionate love of a mother and the power to fulfill desires. In Sri Vidya tradition, Kamakshi is also interpreted as she whose eyes are Lakshmi and Saraswati. Ka stands for Lakshmi and Ma stands for Saraswati. Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, represents material fulfillment, while Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, represents spiritual fulfillment. Thus, Kamakshi's eyes bestow both material and spiritual blessings upon her devotees. Kamakshi is no ordinary name. It's a name bestowed upon the goddess by the creator Brahma himself. The story goes that Brahma was performing intense penance in Kanchipuram when Lalita Devi appeared before him. He was utterly captivated by the qualities of her eyes. He recognized in them three extraordinary powers: Sarvajñatvam, omniscience, the all-knowing gaze that sees the past, present and future; Sakshi Bhavam, witness consciousness, the impartial awareness that observes all without judgment; and Tattat Kaman Apurayet, the power to fulfill the desires of her devotees. It was these qualities that led Brahma to address her as Kamakshi. The name Kamakshi therefore speaks to the very essence of her divine nature. Her eyes are the source of all knowledge, the silent witness to all that occurs, and the gateway to the fulfillment of our deepest desires. There is another layer of significance to this sacred connection to Kanchipuram. It is here in the Kamakshi temple at Kanchipuram that Hayagriva Swami imparted the wisdom of Lalitasahasranamam to sage Agastya. So, the name Kamakshi connects us not only to the goddess's loving gaze, but also to the birthplace of this very sacred text. This name invites us to contemplate the power of the goddess's gaze. Meditating on the name Kamakshi, especially with this understanding of its origin and significance, can help us cultivate love and compassion within ourselves. The next name, the 63rd name, Kamadayini, beautifully complements Kamakshi. While Kamakshi signifies the power to grant desires, Kamadayini represents the actual fulfillment of those desires. Kamadayini translates to the fulfiller of desires or the giver of wishes. It is derived from Kama, which, as we saw with Kamakshi, encompasses both love and desire, and Dayini, meaning giver or fulfiller. So, Kamadayini speaks of the goddess actively working to bring our legitimate desires to fruition. This isn't to say she grants every whim. The desires she fulfills are those aligned with dharma, with righteousness, and ultimately with our spiritual growth. Think of it as a loving mother who gives her children what they need, not necessarily what they want. This understanding of Kamadayini as the fulfiller of righteous desires is further enriched by another profound interpretation of this name. Kamadayini also means the wife of Shiva. Kamada is a name for Shiva, and it means one who burnt Kamadeva, or one who has conquered desire. Ayini means wife. Therefore, Kamadayini also means the consort of Shiva, the one who completes and complements him. Think about it. Shiva as Kamada has conquered desire, representing detachment and control. Lalita as Kamadayini fulfills desires, representing compassion and grace. Together, they don't represent opposing forces, but rather complementary aspects of the divine. They represent the perfect balance of renunciation and engagement, wisdom and love. This harmonious union is the source of all creation, all activity, and all existence. So, as we contemplate the name Kamadayini, we are reminded of the goddess's boundless generosity and her commitment to our well-being, both material and spiritual. She sees our needs, understands our longings, and guides us closer to the ultimate fulfillment, union with herself. This name encourages us to examine our own desires, to purify them, and to offer them to the Divine Mother, trusting that she will fulfill what is truly beneficial for us. It's not merely about receiving, it's about aligning our will with hers, and that alignment itself is a form of fulfillment. This brings us to the 64th name in the Lalitasahasranamam, Devarshi Ganasanghata Stuyamana Vaibhava. As we have seen throughout the Lalitasahasranamam, each name holds multiple layers of meaning. But this one is truly exceptional in its depth and complexity. Devarshi Ganasanghata Stuyamanatma Vaibhava translates to she whose glorious self is praised by groups of gods and sages. In the immediate context of the Lalitasahasranamam narrative, this name describes the scene after Lalita Devi emerges from the Chidagni Kunda, the fire of consciousness. The gods and rishis whose combined penance brought about her manifestation now sing her praises, acknowledging her divine majesty. But this name goes far beyond a simple act of worship. Deva, Rishi and Gana represent three fundamental groups of divine powers who govern the cosmos. So the image evoked is not just of a few individuals praising Lalita, but of the entire cosmos celebrating her presence. It's a cosmic symphony of adoration, a recognition of her as the ultimate source of all creation. Now let's delve into the deeper meaning of Atma Vaibhava. Atma refers to the self, the essence of all beings, and Vaibhava means glory or magnificence. So whose glory is being praised here? The name tells us it is the Atma's glory. This is what our scriptures declare. Swatmaiva Devata Prokta Lalita Vishwa Vigraha. Your own Atma is the goddess Lalita, and she is the embodiment of the universe. This is a powerful insight. The Atma, the self within each of us, is none other than Lalita Devi herself. She is not some distant deity. She is the very consciousness that pervades not only our bodies but the entire universe. Therefore, when Devas, Rishis and Ganas praise Lalita's Vaibhava, they are praising the Atma, the divine self, which is the essence of all existence. Singing the praise of Lalita is in essence singing the praise of Atma. So why don't we realize this truth? Why do we remain bound in ignorance? Because we mistakenly identify the body as the Atma. This ignorance, this false identification is what our scriptures call Bhandasura, the demon of bondage, the root cause of all our suffering. We are trapped by the illusion that we are merely our physical form, forgetting our true nature as the divine and all-pervading Atma. How do we defeat this Bhandasura, this ignorance that holds us captive? The Devas, Rishis and Ganas in their eternal wisdom show us the path. They constantly seek and desire Atma Jnana, knowledge of the self. In the context of our own being, the Devas are our senses, the gateways to experience. The Rishis are our intellect, our power of reasoning, and the Ganas are the diverse functions of our mind and body. Directing all of these, our senses, intellect and actions towards the realization of Atma, the goddess within, is the deeper meaning of the name Devarshi Ganasanghata Stuyamanatma Vaibhava. If we truly desire liberation, if we wish to be free from the clutches of Bhandasura, our entire being, our senses, our thoughts, our actions, our very energy must be focused on the pursuit of Atma Jnana, the recognition of our true identity as the divine Lalita. It is in this recognition, in this union with our true self, that we find ultimate freedom and bliss. But the profound meaning of the name Devarshi Ganasanghata Stuyamanatma Vaibhava doesn't end here. There's another layer, a mantric significance that reveals the power of sound and language in praising the Divine Mother. From a mantric perspective, that is, from the point of view of mantras, the Sanskrit alphabet is categorized into three groups: Devaganas, Rishiganas, and Sanghata. The Devaganas are the vowels, which are the very foundation of sound. The Rishiganas comprise all the consonants, which give form and structure to words. And then there's the unique letter Ksha, which is classified as Sanghata, which is neither a vowel or a consonant but a bridge between the two. So when we say Devarshi Ganasanghata Stuyamanatma Vaibhava, it can also be understood as she whose greatness is praised by all Aksharani, the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. This means that every single letter, every sound, every mantra which is formed from these letters and sounds is ultimately singing the praise of the goddess. And through these very mantras, through these sacred sounds, we can realize the Atma, the divine self, which is the essence of Goddess Lalita's glory, her Vaibhava. Now we arrive at a crucial point in the Lalitasahasranamam, the war against Bhandasura. As we have discussed, Bhandasura represents the darkness within us, the illusion that we are separate from the divine, the mistaken identification of the body as the self. But how do we as individuals confront and overcome this inner ignorance? The names that follow offer a powerful answer. They describe the forces that we need to mobilize within ourselves to defeat this inner demon. Lalita Devi's army, her Shakti Sena, is not just a collection of celestial warriors. It represents the various aspects of our own being, our intellect, our will, our senses, our very consciousness, all aligned and directed towards the pursuit of Atma Jnana, the knowledge of the self. The names in this section fall into two distinct groups. The first set of names describe the composition and might of Lalita's army, the forces that emanate from her own divine essence. The second set details the unfolding of the war itself, the strategies employed, and the ultimate triumph of the goddess. By understanding the symbolism of these names, we gain invaluable insights into our own spiritual battles, the internal struggles we face on the path to self-realization. These names are a metaphor for our own journey towards liberation. Now let's explore the first name that introduces us to this epic battle. Bhandasura Vadodyukta Shakti Sena Samanvita. This means she who is accompanied by the Shakti Sena, ready to destroy Bhandasura. It paints a vivid image of Lalita Devi, fully prepared to vanquish the demon of ignorance. But this name is more than just a war cry. It's a profound message about our own inner battles. Firstly, it emphasizes readiness. Lalita Devi isn't just thinking about fighting. She's ready to act. This reminds us that we can't passively wish for liberation. We need to actively cultivate the strength and qualities needed for our inner battles. Secondly, it highlights the power of the Shakti Sena. This army represents the divine forces within us, our intellect, will, compassion, courage. These are the forces we need to harness to overcome our limitations and move towards self-realization. Thirdly, it reminds us that the battle against Bhandasura is both external and internal. Externally, it's a cosmic war against darkness. Internally, it's our own struggle against the ego, against the tendencies that keep us bound in ignorance. Lalita Devi's readiness to destroy Bhandasura symbolizes our own potential for self-transformation. At the same time, the name points to the importance of both divine grace and personal effort. While Lalita Shaktisena is powerful and ready, it is ultimately her divine grace that guides and empowers them. Similarly, in our own lives, we must strive to cultivate positive qualities and overcome our weaknesses. But in the end, it is divine grace that ultimately enables us to succeed on the spiritual path. This is the deeper meaning of Bhandasura Vadhodyukta Shakti Sena Samanvita. It's a call to self-reflection, to recognize the Bhandasura within us and to actively cultivate the opposing forces, the Shakti Sena of positive qualities that can lead us to victory. It's a reminder that the war against ignorance is not just a mythological tale. It's a continuous inner struggle that we all must undertake on the path to self-realization. Now, having established the context of this inner battle, let's move on to the next name that reveals a powerful Shakti in Lalita Devi's army. Sampathkari Samaruda Sindhura Vrajasevita. This name means she who is attended by a herd of elephants led by goddess Sampathkari. Sampathkari is a powerful goddess leading a vast army of elephants. She is said to have emerged from the goad that Lalita Devi holds in her upper right hand. The goad is a tool used to control and guide elephants, and this symbolism is crucial to understanding the deeper meaning of this name. The elephants symbolize our thoughts, which are powerful and unruly. They are often driven by our desires, our cravings for sense pleasures. These desires are so strong that they overpower our reason and lead us astray. In order to make spiritual progress, we need to learn to control and guide these thoughts, just as a mahout controls an elephant with a goad. Goddess Sampathkari, the general of the elephant army, represents the power of knowledge and wisdom. Sampathkari's role is to control and guide our thoughts, transforming them from a source of chaos into a tool for spiritual growth. This name emphasizes the importance of conquering our inner demons, the negative tendencies that arise from ignorance. By cultivating wisdom and controlling our thoughts, we can pave way for spiritual liberation. The name Sampathkari itself means one who creates prosperity. And as we have often discussed, true prosperity is not just about material wealth. It's about the wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and spiritual understanding. Therefore, Goddess Sampathkari helps us defeat the forces of ignorance with the power of knowledge. She empowers us to control our thoughts, those powerful elephants within us, and to use them for our spiritual growth. Finally, it's worth noting that Sampathkari is not just the name of a goddess, but also a powerful mantra. Our Puranas describe this mantra as having 3 syllables and one with unimaginable power. So, as we contemplate the name Sampathkari Samaruda Sindhura Vrajasevita, let us remember the importance of controlling our thoughts, cultivating knowledge and wisdom, and invoking the divine grace of Goddess Sampathkari to help us conquer the Bhandasura within us. Now, let's explore another powerful Shakti in Lalita Devi's army. Ashwaruda Dishtitashva Koti Koti Bhiravrita. This name means she who is attended by a herd of horses led by goddess Ashwaruda. Ashwaruda, the leader of the cavalry, is a fierce and dynamic goddess, symbolizing swift action and ability to overcome obstacles. Just as Sampathkari represents control over our thoughts, Ashwaruda represents control over our senses. Our senses, like wild horses, can be powerful and unruly, constantly seeking gratification and pulling us in different directions. They can lead us astray if we don't have the reins to guide them. This is where Ashwaruda comes in. She emerges from the pasha, the noose that Lalita Devi holds in her upper left hand. The pasha symbolizes the power to control and restrain, and Ashwaruda embodies this power in relation to our senses. She rides a horse called Aparajita, which means the unconquered. This symbolizes the great power of sense control to lead us to victory in all spheres of life. Once you have mastered your senses, you are unconquerable. Nothing can defeat you. The horses themselves represent the speed and agility of our senses. They are powerful, fast, and relentless, constantly seeking new experiences. The vast number of horses, koti, signifies the multitude of sense perceptions and experiences that we encounter in our lives. But when our senses are controlled and directed towards a higher purpose, they can become a source of wisdom and liberation. The name Ashwaruda Dishtitashva Koti Bhiravrita implies that we are not alone in this battle against our unruly senses. Just as Lalita Devi is surrounded by her powerful army, we too have access to inner resources and divine support to help us control our senses. Just as Sampathkari helps us control our thoughts, Ashwaruda helps us control our senses, both working together to lead us towards self-realization. Finally, just like Sampathkari, Ashwaruda is also a powerful mantra consisting of 13 syllables. I will stop here, but the journey doesn't end here. The war against ignorance is a continuous process, and Lalita Devi's army has many powerful forces to reveal. In the upcoming names of the Lalitasahasranamam, we will encounter descriptions of various chariots, each rich in symbolism and representing different aspects of our inner struggle. So stay tuned as we continue to explore the depths of Lalitasahasranamam and uncover the hidden wisdom within each name. May the grace and blessings of the Goddess Lalita Tripurasundari guide and inspire you on your spiritual journey. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste.